I know at least I have a source of income coming in and I'm not completely broke. I have an apartment, I have a car, and I'm very thankful. What's good, guys? It's your girl Brianna Tiny, and I am back with another video. So as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be talking about disability and sickle cell and how to pretty much apply for Social Security disability as an adult and a child. So the child is going to pretty much be for the parents, and the adults is going to be, of course, for yourself if you're over 18 and watching this video. So to start, I am in a lot of sickle cell groups on Facebook, and a lot of questions have been arising as to why a lot of you sicklers are not getting approved for disability when you need the money. And here are some things that some tools and things I'm going to tell you to help you get through this long, dreadful process of applying for disability and some ways around the system. So as I give you all this advice, I highly advise you guys to write this stuff down. This is going to be a very, 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 very informative video on the ins and outs of the disability system and the government and some ways around it. So let's get into the video. So I have been on disability since I was a child. Since I was a baby, pretty much. My mom pretty much enrolled me as soon as I turned like 1, or probably even before then. She knew as a single mom and having a sick child, she needed help. So my grandmother and her went down to the disability office and she got approved. Now, mind you, my mom was not working at the time. Well, she was working, but she was in school, so she wasn't making that much money. So I got the full amount of SSI back then, which was probably like $775 a month. They've changed the criterias. Now, you can't get more than like probably $800, and it's really rare if you do get $800. But the max they'll probably give you for a Social Security disability is like $775, like I said. So this was back in New York, because if you didn't know, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, and it worked really well. It also helped with my Medicaid, so the disability and the Medicaid went hand in hand. So the disability was just extra money that I needed for my sickness, just like for transportation, for food, for doctor's appointments, for stuff like that, like whatever, just money to help me live, just because as a child you can't work, and it's just extra money that my mom didn't have. So having disability for your child that has sickle cell, it can be helpful, and it can be like you don't also really need it, but you do need the Medicaid. So the disability is kind of like an extra bonus that comes with the Medicaid, because children really don't need the extra money, but the parents do need the money to help that child for clothes, hospital stays, food, whatever it may be. But it's just extra government assistance for the child that comes with the Medicaid. So a lot of people don't know that. They have Medicaid but don't have disability, but those two work really, really, really close together, and you have to apply for them both. You can't just apply for Medicaid and expect to get disability. No, they're separate, but they're together at the same time. So as my mom started working, she started to make more money, and she made over $50,000. She's a respiratory therapist working in New York, and she made over $50,000. Now, SSI disability is really, really strict when it comes to income, the parents' income. Like, they cannot make over like $40,000 and get government assistance, because they feel like you could afford to pay for that child if you're making over $40,000. So that's when I run into some trouble, and my grandmother decided to take over. So now here's a little bit of a secret. So my grandmother applied for me, and at the time my grandma was making $50,000, but it doesn't matter, because their grandparents can be a millionaire and that will not affect that child's income. But the only thing about that is the grandparent has to live with the child, and I'm not 100% sure on this, so do not quote me. I think that the grandparent has to be the guardian, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I've been trying to like look it up for you guys before I filmed this video, but I couldn't find any concrete evidence that said that the grandparent had to be the guardian. But I do know for sure that the grandparent has to live with the child in the state of New York and in the state of North Carolina. So that's just that aspect of it. So my grandmother applied, and that's when before my grandma applied, the disability started to take away some money because they felt like I didn't need as much because my mom was making a lot of money. So I was going from like $775 to like, I'm gonna say $400. I wasn't getting as much, probably not that less, but like I wasn't getting as much because my mom was making a lot of money. So in order for me to get what I was getting before my grandmother applied, so this is like a little secret, so I would highly recommend using this, and it's not illegal. It's not illegal. I wouldn't tell you guys something illegal and put you guys in jail. No, it's not illegal for the grandmother or the grandparents to get government assistance for the child. My grandma started getting it for me until I was 18, and then when I turned 18, I applied and I got it for myself. So that helped me out a lot, because as soon as I turned 12 years old, guys, I've already made a video on this. I started to get really sick, and it was really hard for me to even work or even think about working. So I really needed this disability. But ever since Obama left and Trump came into office, that's when things started to switch up and change. And they changed the criteria now. So every 3 years, the government needs to do a check-in on you to see if you still need disability. So at one point they cut my disability off for about 2 months because I failed to do an update on my condition, and they cut it off. And guys, when I tell you, that was one of the biggest, scariest moments of my life, because I depend on that money. Like, I depend on that money every single month for me to live. Even to this day on what is today, December 10th, 2018, I still depend on that money to live. So this is just a note. Please be on top of it, because they are not, how can I say, scared to take away their money if you aren't complying with their rules. So they took it away, but now I have it back. So now for my for the children, for my parents, I highly advise you, if you are making a lot of money and your child needs it, and I highly recommend you do it for them while they're children, just because it's going to be really hard for them later. And I don't want you to don't be selfish and just not do it and have them apply when they're adults, because it's going to be 10 times harder for them to apply when they're adults, and they're probably not going to get it. They may not need it as their children because you're able to provide for them, but when they're adults, they're really going to need it, because the sickle cell is either going to get really worse, or it's going to get better, but it's probably just going to get worse before it gets better. So as a parent, please do that for your child. If you're making too much money and your spouse is making too much money, have the grandparent do it. Figure out some ways, hire a lawyer to help you, but have that child, set that child up for adulthood. You know what I'm saying? Just set that child up for adulthood so they won't have to struggle when they are adults, because it's heartbreaking reading all the comments in the sickle cell group saying they really need that money and they're not getting it because their parents didn't do it when they were younger, and they're not getting approved for it. Now, if you're over 18 and you need this disability, this is what you need to do. You need to, and this is even for children, for applying for, if you're parents and you need to apply for the child and you're having a hard time, take Please write this down, guys. Please write this down and use my knowledge to help you get money from the government, because you're gonna need it. So for my parents and for my adults, you need to have your doctor write out a long, specific letter on what sickle cell is, how it's affecting your life, how you are not able to work, how you need government assistance, and have them sign it, have the social worker sign it, and that's one piece of paper that you need. Another piece of papers that you need is your hospital stays. You need to print out your hospital stays, have them detail oriented about what goes on with you when you go in the hospital, what type of medications you get, what type of medications you need, how long your hospital stays are, what they consist of, like if you had a fever, or if you had this, or if you needed to be out of the school for a few days, or if you need to be out of work for a few days. I would hold on to all of those and apply and put it with the doctor's note, and then I would get a lawyer. This is more for my adults. For my adults, I would get a lawyer, because a lawyer is going to help fight for you more than you can help fight for yourself, and a lawyer knows more about the ins and outs of the disability program than you probably do. And I would help get that lawyer to help provide these documents to the judge, and you are more likely to be able to get it. At first, it's going to take a long time, guys. It's going to take about a good 6 to 12 months to get it, because they need to make sure that this is legit with everything that's been going on with the opioid epidemic, with people abusing the system, and people applying for disability when they don't really need disability. Those people really hurt the system for us. So I would really, really recommend getting a lawyer. I know it's going to be, expensive, but find those lawyers that, do the work and they don't get paid until you do. So I would try to find those lawyers, and please apply soon before Trump tried messing with, healthcare again. He's already tried messing with it, but I would probably want to do this really soon, guys, because it's getting really, really hard for our people to get disability and government assistance, and even getting Section 8. Guys, this is coming from the bottom of my heart. Please apply soon if you do not have it. Please apply soon if you do not have it. Take, what I've taught you in this video and apply it. And you have to be determined. You have to want it to get it, Even if you have to put in a little bit a sob story for the clerk that's helping you at the desk, drop a tear, whatever. You have to do it. But you need the money, guys. And don't expect to get $1,000. You're not going to get that much. You're going to get at least $750. No more than $8. No less than $7. So that money will help you so much. And if you want to work while on disability, if you still want to work, just know that you can work, but you can't work that much. You can't work a full-time job and get disability. That's just cut, because if you could work, you wouldn't need disability in the first place. But they don't want to stop you from working, but just know that to every dollar you make, they take away 50 cents from your check. That's a rough estimate about it. But if you do decide that you still want to make some extra money, just know they'll take away some money from your check if you apply for disability and get it and work. So that was my problem, trying to figure out, if I could still work or if I should work and get disability. But obviously I'm not working right now, but at least I have a source of income coming in, and I'm not completely broke. I have an apartment, I have a car, and I'm very thankful, because having disability has getting government assistance has helped me so much. I don't care about any negative comments. I don't care what people got to say about it, but it has helped me. I'm living in this beautiful apartment. I have roommates, but I have a roof over my head. I pay my rent. I have a car. Thankfully, it's paid off. So all I gotta do is put gas in it and keep up with the maintenance. And I have food in my fridge. I'm just thankful for this government assistance, because without the disability, I don't know where I would be. You get what I'm saying? So parents, please, 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 I'm gonna keep stressing this, please, you know, apply your child to get disability. And I know you may not think they don't need it now, but they will need it in the future. Even if it's just for a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, they're gonna need it in the future. Disability, no, it's not something that you can live on for the rest of your life, because you know who can live on for $800 for the rest of it, or like almost $800 for the rest of their life. It's like a very strict budget, but you know, eventually you're gonna want something better. But for right now, it's gonna help somebody out so much now. So I'm a living testament, and I'm thankful for this platform to, you know, share with you guys my experience on disability. I haven't had terrible experience just because my mom had me enrolled in disability since I was pretty much a newborn. So I hope you enjoyed this informative video. It's probably gonna be very long, and I'm so sorry, but please take the tips that I've taught you and apply them when you go to the office, okay? And thank you so much for watching. Let me know what other videos you would like to see from me, Bria Botani. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to share this video and spread awareness to sickle cell anemia all over. Not even sickle cell anemia, chronic illnesses all over. Love you. See you next time.